Here we are live from Argentina. Let's collect some people in here first. And this is a pretty high chair. Let me figure out how to get this phone higher. Join us, peoples. Join us. Let's see if it's live, properly live. Let's see. Let me just share this link on Facebook, peeps, so that everyone can join in. Hola, Rodrigo. Hoi. Hi, Andrusha. Let me see. How does this work again? Every time we get to the live stream, it's like, okay, what's going on here again? What's up? What's up, Dries? Ariuna Borsetti. Mekli. Let me see. Let me find the live stream. I feel a sneeze coming up. You know, everything is suspect. You know. Oh, it's leaving again. I'm sitting right in the stream of the AC. Austria, hi guys, what's up? Let's collect some people. I'm just working on sharing the live stream link. Here it is. Sometimes I would like to split the chat to like the laptop, but I don't know if that's possible. I've been looking into it, but I can't get it done. Hey everyone, Amsterdam, hi there, Pedro. Luis Antola Francis, how's it going, man? Status report, yeah, we're getting there. Let's collect some people in there. The Swedes, the Dutch, the Uruguayans. Rick, what's up, man? Help from Colorado. Stuck in Spain. Yeah, oh, you were traveling. Yeah, there's some stories, man. It's a really rough story too. And that's not my own. Yeah, let me go to Facebook here and then I'll get to everyone. Let's get all the folks in here, right? The more the merrier, because this thing, we're not alone. We're in this thing together. Yeah, well, you saved me with the content. Well, cheers, man. I need to start making content for me too, man. I've been in isolation for 9 days. It's going to make me some content, man. Let's see. Live stream is up. Live stream English is up. Come join us in isolation. And post. Come on, post it. There we go. Have you got help near you to work on it? Luis asks. No, it's in a garage and it's locked. And I have to call them. I'm going to call them soon. Yesterday I walked by them and they said they would be open on the 1st, the day before the lockdown. I asked them and they weren't. So, but they might not let Alp out, you know. But we already worked on Alp. Most of it is done. So, yeah. Well, let's do a proper introduction. Let's get this thing higher up. Let's get this thing. This is not going to stick, is it? This is not going to stick. How's that for view? Will that do? So what's going on? What's going on? Yes. Day 9 in lockdown, and of course no hairdressers, no trimmers, no nothing. So the beard is coming along here in Buenos Aires. And we basically spent a week and a half or so working on Alp and making the videos while here. And meanwhile, I saw what was coming from the Netherlands, and then they slowed traffic down on the day that I could have left. I just posted that day a video, spent the morning finishing up the video and uploading it. It was actually the day I wanted to leave. Then we talked about doing one more thing on the motorbike, and then the whole lockdown was confirmed for the next day. And yeah, but anyway, if I would have been anywhere else in the country, it wouldn't really have mattered so much because the lockdown is everywhere. Though this is Buenos Aires. It's not like I'm worried, too worried. Don't quote me if everything goes wrong. I'm not too worried about getting it. What was I saying? It's more about that thing that, quarantine is everywhere, so you would have had to sit still anywhere. But of course, a metropolis like Buenos Aires is where things would get craziest, right? Populations and all that. So I know I'm not the only one. So this live stream, you can ask me questions about the trip, but also share what's going on in your lives. So there's a lot of messages going about. So I'll start by reading something in here. Keep safe and healthy. Un abraço da Bélgica. Grande abraço lá para os belgas. Hi Rob, Romein, how's it going? Kan je nog rondreizen met de moto? Adrian asks, can I travel around? No, I cannot. And also an extension, very probable, of the quarantine, but we'll talk about that later. Hello from Buenos Aires too? Yeah, Marcos? Quédate en casa. Stay inside. Well, here we are. Can we make a meeting? Well, not really. New Brunswick, Canada. I heard you guys are inside too, eh? When all of this, I'd like to see you somewhere. I don't know what your president is thinking about, but it won't be anytime soon. And the day it opens up, I'm getting out of this city. At least I would like to. But they're really talking about extending this thing until the 12th, which I think, personally, I mentioned it earlier on Instagram, is too much. So once the quarantine ends, lockdown, it'll be 12, 13 days. And the whole incubation period, average is 5. The longest is 14 days. And then making it 3.5 weeks is a bit, yes, it's a bit overkill. I understand where it's coming from, but we're coming to that point where, where we're discussing, yes, what's the implications of this thing health-wise, and we're understanding it better and better, and what is the implication of this economically, and that is real too. It's not an exaggeration of, oh no, it's only for the rich and whatnot, but it's your average Joe and your lower average Joe that I think are suffering in this. But even people with good jobs, good steady jobs, veterans at their companies are laid off or looking at potential layoffs, and that's serious, man. So yeah, that's the thing. And I compare it to the Netherlands every time, right? So Argentina is a week and a half. Hope you don't mind me going on this. This is what's going on. Might get this out of the way right away. But the Netherlands is about a week and a half ahead, almost 2 weeks. So I was glancing in the morning during breakfast at the Argentinian news, and I knew what was going on in Holland. So I was like, yeah, okay, I know what's coming. But the Netherlands never went in full lockdown, and only since Monday they have like an implied lockdown where it's all about your own responsibility as a Dutch citizen. It's very Dutch-like. It's a very Dutch solution. We can do this. We're very reasonable, intelligent people, and we can sort this in our own way. So there's no quarantine, no lockdown, still no official lockdown in the Netherlands. While I can't see the chat. Oh, okay. Now I can. While in Argentina, it's been for 9 days, and they want to extend it another 12. So bringing it to, 23, 24 days. That's a lot. But meanwhile, in Nederland, nee, rustig aan, jongen. Komt allemaal goed. Let's see. Question. Yeah, a lot of question. Pales in comparison. The healthcare costs, the loss of wages, healthcare costs. But I think the lack of people's livelihoods will have long-term definitely implications. Is because we're getting a picture of, I think, where people are, where the risk groups are, and yes, younger people die too, but percentage-wise, that makes absolute sense. But still, relatively, it's the higher age brackets and the people with the complications. Everyone knows the story by now, right? With health issues, asthma, diabetic, overweight, age, all are the main, risk groups. I think there's a balance somewhere of where we have to live with this and be smart about it. I'm saying this because one country like the Netherlands is doing what they're doing. They kind of accept infections, and Argentina is doing the complete opposite, where they're trying to avoid it. But I think they might get I think Argentina, if they do this for so long, you're going to get a big second wave later on. I don't know, man. Everybody says a lot of things, but we're slowly learning a lot. I'm looking at your questions here. Greetings from Finland. Thanks, Jarko. Is your bike an Africa twin? Rides and more ass. No, it's Africa Alp Africa. It's 91 Transalp mixed in with a tank and rally fairing for an Africa twin. Greetings from England. What's the food like? Kernel Rock asks, well, pasta, rice. What are those things which have like the pasta things, very soft with something inside? Tortellini or something with a burger, basic sausages. I haven't been to the butcher really, so I've been getting stuff at a basic supermarket, but recently I've actually gotten some fruit and veg after like 8 days. Get my greens. Hi Pedro, I think you'll be fine there. There's more access to food, medicine. If you need, you could go into the wilderness camp. Eventually you'd get hungry as, yeah, Andre Costa says. Alp is in the parking lot. If I can get Alp out. Imagine if everything just goes, imagine the worst, right? We're talking about Escape from LA kind of worse, might be extreme. And then Alp is locked in that parking garage. I would have to ask someone for help to get a grinder and cut the garage open to get Alp out. Alp's all alone in that garage now, man. Because Adrian offered to put Alp at his place. I should not have trusted the parking garage people. Does it worry you when you're so isolated about needing help if you get injured? Sirkit Chalot asks. It's in the back of my head. I make conscious decisions as to, okay, this could might happen. Sort of have an exit plan. But yeah, things can always go really wrong, and you can get in some real trouble. So the trick is to avoid that. Stop touching your face. I know, man. It's not possible. I haven't gone outside today, so it's okay. How are you Dutch and your name is Pedro, writes and more asks. Born in Portugal, grew up in the Netherlands. Dean ML, is this going to affect your finances for the trip? Yeah. I was going to say a little bit. It's becoming more than a little bit. And if they extend the quarantine, yeah. I was lucky to. Okay, let me tell you what happened. Oh no, dry throat. It's because of you guys. I'm talking to you guys. So this is what happened, right? So there was discussion of a lockdown all of a sudden, and I'm staying at this hotel, and they're not allowed already for a week to have new guests, at least not Argentinian guests. And then the lockdown happens, and it's day one, and I'm looking for Airbnb, and of course I'm not looking for. So there's no Ubers anymore, and I thought there were no taxis anymore. But I recently saw a taxi on the street somewhere, but it's very limited, and it's only okay, buses maybe, but transportation got a bit more complicated, and Alp was locked up, and so I got to get a place nearby. And then so I'm not looking for Airbnb rooms because who's going to keep me there, right? In their house, some foreigner, even though I've been in South America for a long time. So I chose for studio places, a complete apartment. I figured they will
they will let you stay there. And still, I got denied a couple of times. It's as in, yeah, we don't want to hit the street, or no, we don't want to do the apartment anymore. It's more tricky because you're a foreigner too. So all of a sudden, foreigners are, where they come from. And I started writing messages to people on Airbnb straight away. Yeah, I've been in Argentina already for 3-4 weeks, man. Then I managed to get this place here, which was 3 blocks from the hotel, and I could walk. I'm walking with all the gear from the hotel, and at least I did that, because then I got this place for a week, and I wanted to extend, and all of a sudden I couldn't. It wasn't working, and then I check Airbnb. It shows the listings, but you can't book until any day before the 1st of April. So Airbnb went completely down for Argentina. So now I had to, with these following days, sort out a cash situation here with the landlord lady, and I had to go to the ATM. Oh man, almost 10 euros, right? 9 euros 50 or so to get money from the ATM here in Argentina. And you get 120 euros. That's how much you can get out every time. You pay 10 euros and almost 10 euros. And then to the bank in Holland, I pay about 350, right? So it's almost 14 euros to get 120 euros out of the machine. It's insane. It's quite dire, ATMs here in Argentina. So that's the Airbnb situation. If they extend it, I got money to exchange, but you're not really. You have to find more clandestino people on the street to exchange your money, and you're not in a good bargaining position to change your dollars. Because I brought a few from Uruguay. So normally you can pay an Airbnb with credit, and now we have to do cash. So that's what's up. I prefer hostess is more accommodating. It's and a bit weird. I don't. Yeah, there's a bit of a mistrust. I feel, I think she might think that we have a good relationship. It's all good. But I think she might think that I bail, because I've been explaining. Look, I got money. I can exchange it, but you got to give me time to open quarantine day. When quarantine lifts, and then I can go exchange. I get that. But in a different kind of situation, at the hotel where I was staying that day, I didn't have in that moment enough credit space on the first day of the quarantine. Well, I did, but then I wouldn't have enough money to go to the supermarket, I figured. And I told the guy there, the clerk, and he said, you know what, don't worry about it. Later on, just come back and repay it then when you can. And that was really cool. So there's, two worlds out here of trust and some mistrust. You're not in the greatest bargaining position. It's when everything is closed. No hotel will take you to. I think foreigners technically could get a hotel, but I think they won't. They wouldn't let you stay. What's going on? The editors of Drive Mag Riders are actually following you on Facebook. Cool, Dean ML says. Oh man. Yeah, that reminds me of all the riders all of a sudden that can't continue their trip. There's worse things in the world, of course. For me, yeah, okay, man. Oh no, winter's coming, and it's not going to be great if it keeps on going for a long time. But this is my life, right? So I have time. So many people have been looking forward to something for so long, and they had to cancel, had to bail, or had to cancel while on it. More than a few people. And you guys remember Flavio from the Brazil videos, from the early Brazil videos, when I rode into Sao Paulo, and there's an old guy in a pickup truck, and Flavio's driving, and he hands me his cap through the window. It's like, follow me on Instagram, he says, and that's what I did, and I found him. Well, Flavio, most awesome dude. He's super connected in his community where he's from. He was on a ride, going to go on a ride to the States, and he talked to me about it. Wow, big guys, It's one of his first, if not the biggest trip of his life, with one of his best mates, a senior fella who was 65, 60 more, and going on this big trip. And then I asked at one point, I saw some picture on Instagram, and I asked him, where are you? And he's in Chile, Arica, and he can't cross into Peru. So his trip ends. it stops there, and then all of a sudden, you know, how are you going to get to the United States or continue the trip? You can't, and he owns a business, right? And then for him, it got even worse. I don't know what happened exactly. He wouldn't afterwards. He didn't reply anymore to when I asked what's going to happen, what are you going to do, where are you going to go. And then now, like a week and a half later, I see a picture of his best mate, that senior companion of him on the trip. He had an accident while on the journey, and he succumbed to his injuries. He died, unfortunately, on this trip of a lifetime. So that turned really messed up. And if Flavio or people know Flavio watching, I already sent him a message before, but you know, all the best, forza cara. And I don't know, it's an example how a trip can go south, and you know how a trip like this is still, you know, very real. But anyway, they went for it, and I bet the man had a blast, man. Yeah, holy crap, that's messed up, DNMLs. Yeah, pretty much. It can happen. So I think it was head injury. So yeah, so these trips are still very real, you know. Every now and then you hear this news, but this is the time that it's been closest, like someone I actually knew, something bad happened like that. Andrusha, I have to cancel all of my plans. Hope next year. Yeah, that's rough. You'll get back on it. What Adrian Verspeert, for how long? How long you have to stay in there? Well, we have to go to 13 days. The first we can get out officially. That was the idea, but they're going to add another 12 days probably, which is a bit much. Show us what it's like outside. Enrico, man, ass. It's okay. It's quite quiet. Maybe Argentinians will know where I am. There's this building here, and Retiro is what the region is called here, this section of the city. There's the harbor. Those cranes, they're still in the same place. But there's this small semi-roundabout. It's like 4 or 5 lanes. Empty. It's normally busy ass. All I see in the distance are buses, sometimes a van or a little motorbike, police vehicles. They ride around quads here and police motorbikes. Every time you hit the street, guaranteed some officer will ask, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? But I got my shopping bag, so I walk around with the shopping bag, and the last 2 times, then they leave you alone then. But the first time was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, yeah, trying to figure things out. Buenos Aires is a really beautiful city. Yeah, it is. It really is. But yeah, it's one of those places that's like that 8 days later scene from London. Oh, the messages are following really fast. Greetings from Poland. Take care. Freebird. Cheers, man. It's one big fake to destroy the global economy. Well, sitting in between, somewhere in the middle between the extreme and the non-extreme, there are people who will profit and they won't get poor while others do. What about Africa? Are you planning a ride in Africa? If you do, what could be your route, your base, the start? Africa's hardcore. Well, South Africa, I would like to go to South Africa. Ride with some South Africans, maybe. I haven't met a South African who's pretty tough, you know, rough ass dudes, and they love their motorbikes and off-roading, so that would be dope. Get to know the ex-Portuguese colonies, Mozambique, Angola, and Namibia, with the sand dunes. Yeah, maybe one day. I reckon I'll end there at some point. First North America, man. I don't know, I like, maybe destiny doesn't want me to get up there in North America. You're staying in a very expensive neighborhood. Well, actually, when I got here, the most affordable hotels for some reason in this region could have been the like price matching or something deals for the day. But the food though, the food is rough out here. Finding a place where you don't have to pay a table fee and whatnot. Yeah, and it was temporary, right? Oh, just give me 1 second. I have to see something here. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, almost lost the stream. Okay. Watching you from Canada, riding for Porto Alegre. My hometown was super cool. Ride safe. Cheers, man. Jorge Netske. Hi from New Zealand, from a Brazilian guy. Cheers to 82BR. Let's see. Christoph Rehwol. Do you watch any shows on Netflix? Well, this place does happen to have Netflix, but not really. The only series that I watched for a while was Vikings, but they're not that great anymore, and their latest season ended again. That's about it. Go for Dakar. Which Dakar did? Oh yeah. We almost forgot which Dakar, right? Is it in Saudi Arabia or is it in Bolivia? It's like, oh yeah, the original Dakar. Yes, in Africa, exactly. The busiest place in the country. Yeah. Can't imagine out here. Let's scroll a little bit for the questions. In lockdown since 8th of April in Sicily. Yeah, man. Italy. 8 April, you mean 8 March probably, right? John Genova. Yeah, Italy got, hit hard. And Netherlands relatively got, got hit pretty good too. But a lot of older populations there too in the Netherlands. And I generally also think that if you look at France, high population countries, right? Even in the UK, because I was going to say there's more contact between parents generally in countries like France, Spain, Italy, Portugal, and also more intimate greeting contact between people in those countries too. So that might have helped a little bit too. But in regards to high population areas, we shouldn't completely lose our minds, because some things started. All right, so this is outside. I would hit the streets, but I don't have any data. Plus, people would get upset once they see the bad 4G quality. So we're going to go back inside. Diederik de Mit, sterkte in de lockdown. Hier in België mogen we enkel nog motorrijden voor noodzakelijke verplaatsing. Ja. Same here. Let me put the phone down. Leonard Harvey. Pedro, your English is fabulous. Cheers, man. Don't be fooled. There is no virus. I don't completely know about that. There is something, but we might also be overdoing it a little bit. Best remedy for lockdown is watching episode 10 of Your Riding Around the World, Oliver Collins says. Oh, that's the one, yeah, the compilation. Which country was that? Tajikistan?
Margus Lumo. It's a good question, actually. How do you cope with this stress from all the noise that comes from media? For me, it gets really bad sometimes, usually riding bike then, or try to work more and not think about it. Well, you can ride a bike still, apparently. That's nice. Use work to get your head away from it. I say this to everyone is don't follow the media. Well, don't like most sport, don't watch TV. Maybe just a little bit if you want at the end of the day, or just skip one day, especially if in quarantine. Just don't watch the news. And they're very similar in with how they deal this around the world, and they love it. It's guaranteed clicks and views. And the Argentine media is also quite sensationalist. And I got a bit pissed when I was watching that news of this for the first time. And it was already happening for a week and a half in Holland. And they're starting to talk about it in Argentina. And they play this ominous music as the newscasters, they walk around the studio, right? And very serious, they talk about it. And they play this ominous, scary music in the background. It's like, F off, man. Just, that's terrible. What I do see appear sometimes are suggested Argentine news videos in my YouTube feed, right? Big thumbnails, of course, of this many new cases.
For the longest time, the deaths were quite a few, and it increased a little bit more the last few days. But before, they were really like putting it out there. The infections, the amount of infections. While we know that infections that doesn't mean too much, you know, casualties is the real number. Unfortunately, is depending on quantity of testing, the quality of testing, you know, and are the numbers real coming out? But, you know, Argentina for a while didn't really have anything to play with. So they're pushing out, oh, now we have this many infections, this many. It's horrible. It's terrible. You know, you got to turn that stuff off. You know, at one point, you know what's up. And I don't suffer from it. I find it just terrible to watch. There's a better word for it, but terrible, and it's disingenuous, and it's definitely not helping. But this is good. It's good if people see that, you know, like why let that create stress for you when you can just put it out of your life? And then I just recommend it to keep doing that in the future. It helps for me because I'm disconnected a lot of times, you know, so already for years now. So Kevin de Walle, what will you do if this lasts for several months or even more? Yeah, well, it's a good one. I'm not sure, man. I just hope that we can move at one point in Argentina, at least, you know, borders closed, would be closed. I imagine I get that. But I would like to get to the Cordillera region, and it's sparsely populated there generally. And then you got 2,500, 3,000 kilometers to go down south. But then you get to that little bit where you have to go through Chile and then back into Argentina. So how would that work, right? But at least it would be good if I could use at some point those 2,500, ride out those 3,000 kilometers. Hi there from a French biker, Low Riviere. Hey man, how's it going? Good point, no TV, Bill knows, damn right. Let's see, I've watched most of your videos. I can assure you Africa will be completely different level. You reckon? Maybe few countries, but I imagine Africa to be like some parts of South America, as in super populated, and then a few countries, not like South, I mean like Asia, Southeast Asia, and then a few countries more like Bolivia, northern Chile. And I think I would like to see places more like the latter. You know, place like South Africa, Namibia come to mind as in like wide open spaces, not too jungly. I think those would be the countries that I would love the most in Africa. But yeah, I reckon there's some countries it's pretty serious, can get pretty serious out there. Adrian, correct. Media is toxic. Absolutely. Let's see. Hola, amigo Pedro. Hola, Maximiliano. Pedro Moto, what's wrong with new boots? Why did you glue it? I don't know if you've seen the last. I don't know if you've seen the last live stream, but the soles were coming off because I basically bought boots that had been in stock for years, so they were falling apart. And I've been telling you guys, I can't have nice things generally because they'll fall apart. But now I got them glued with some super duper glue. I used so much glue actually that I got rocks and sand permanently glued to the boot. But this time it's the second time I glue it, but this time I asked, give me your better super glue. And the guy said, you better wear gloves. Okay, and that's what I did. And this stuff is looking solid. I had it fixed by someone, but I knew they were going to use that silly pasty brownish glue that they use a kwast, pincette, kwast, a brush to apply it to the sole, and it's not quality glue, but now it's back on. And I think it should stick for a while. Because other than that, the boot is great. Fits like a glove, brilliant. But hey, it was $99. Let's see. China has reported around 3,000 deaths, but 14 million are missing out of their national tracking base. They are able to do this because they furnish phones for each person. Yeah, China is definitely underreporting to the max. You know, in this situation, again, this is a middle ground thing between no, China is great, there's nothing wrong, and then the other, China is the absolute worst. But in a way, it does remind me a little bit of Chernobyl in '86, the nuclear disaster there in Soviet Union, Ukraine. And it was a bit of a cover-up situation for a while there. That's a great series, by the way. Someone asked Netflix. I don't think that was a Netflix series, HBO, Chernobyl, if you haven't seen it, but doubt it. That was a great series, a mini-series. But I see it a little bit similar right now, you know, because we saw what was happening in China for a while. And, you know, everybody's complaining about their governments, you know, and it's interesting to see because everybody always says, oh, my government, they're the worst. Oh, our people are the worst, you know, look at them. Or Hamster getting all the food. There's nothing left. And I hear empty supermarkets in the Netherlands, no quarantine. There's no empty supermarkets here. Well, there's a quarantine, actually, at least not on the first day, right? So, and in the Netherlands, supermarkets were empty and they don't have a real quarantine. The contrast, right? And a lot of people complaining, but it's a universal complaint. There's not so far. There's not any unique countries that get away with, oh, everything went perfect there, or our people were great. And even Japan, which first was, oh, they've been great. No, they've been underreporting because they wanted to keep the Olympics going, and it turns out worse. But yeah, back to the China situation. It's a modern. It's a bit. I see it a bit as a modern day Chernobyl, and they neglected it, covered it up for a month or so. Depends again, what can we believe media-wise? What have we seen, right? But they didn't get on it straight away, definitely not. I'm in a compulsory quarantine, locked in a room by the Jordanian army, and my busa is waiting for me, drying in Portugal like salted fish. Epa, Antonio. Sorry, bro. Hang in there, man. The Jordanian army. I hope Petra was nice, man. Was worth it. Greetings from Sweden. Nika, greetings back, mate. Amazing series. Cheers, Mototech Wander. Guillermo Costa, great show. Cheers, man. China is not the issue. Well, look, yeah, governments, you know, the CCP on the other hand is, yeah, I get what you're saying. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Simplico Silvia. Manda lá uma para Lolé. Estamos todas aqui ligados. Ainda temos que aturar a tua mãe. Well, family, hang in there in Lolé. Big hi here from Buenos Aires, and lots of love. The countries you The countries you must travel that are safe in Africa: Uganda, Kenya, Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, Swaziland, Lesotho. All right, cheers. Cherwedge. Pedro Svatets, good luck. This is going to end sooner or later. Be safe and enjoy Argentina. It's a beautiful country. The south is great, but also the north. Salta was going to be the last bit, you know, save the warmer part for later. Yeah, it's going to be colder and colder. March was still doable, man. April is the tail end of doable. May, yeah, it's going to get cold. And that's not, for me, the biggest deal. It's irregular weather. Is the wind going to be too strong? Because then I can let the drone up. Bad weather influences what I can record, you know? So high altitude camping. Snowstorms show up in the Andes, you know? So... Dean ML, since you managed to evade ISIS, would you ride in South Sudan? ISIS is still there, right? Yeah, I wouldn't. What was going in Sudan again? Is ISIS there? Or is that the Boko Haram stuff? Anyway, both terrible. Really not really. I've said this before because I have the idea of riding the Darien Gap over land. I'd rather have, I don't know, South American guerrillas find me than ISIS. Like, that's game over, man. Rather not. Greetings from Sweden, continued. Nick W. Was about to catch a ferry to the US and go with my Alp down to Argentina, but then came this Corona and I'm stuck in Sweden. So let's survive. Yeah, man, hang in there and put your plans in the fridge. I heard Sweden wasn't too bad. I don't know if that's correct. I haven't actually checked the numbers. Oh, guy on two wheels, be safe and stay healthy. Thanks for the support, man. You too. Hang in there. Keep up, Dutch man, says Peter Meyer. Cheers. You too, man. Dean ML, are we going to see more group rides? I don't know. If it happens, it happens. Funnily enough, you know, we're a lot of people, hey, when are you going to meet people? Show those videos. We want to see that. And my most social videos haven't done well lately, which was interesting. But if I meet people again, I'll end up riding and then we'll have another group ride. Greetings from my Vara to his beloved Alp, George XLV. Cheers, man. Let's see. The Lone Wolf, LOL family. Yeah, right. Greetings from Switzerland. Greetings back, Tony. Next episode is going to have a Swiss, my little cousin, who was traveling South America. Oh, yeah, I haven't spoken to him in a week and a half. He was worried about, he was up in Brazil by now, I think. I hope he made it to Bolivia. But he's from Switzerland, Portuguese, Dutch, Swiss. We have a bit of a mix going on, so in the family. Supermarkten zijn niet leeg, alleen enkele schappen. JJ. Well, I was hearing the stories of earlier in the Netherlands, and not just news sources, but people commentaries, and having trouble to, at least the Albert Heijn was empty a lot apparently. But then you go to a different supermarket and you could still find stuff. Let's see, scroll. Let me put this down. I'm gonna fill up my glass. Throat's getting sore. I gotta keep this throat, you know, well lubricated. Gotta keep that barrier against Corona sliding down my throat. Nice lubricated. Oh yeah, ever since I'm in Argentina, I'm hooked to this kind of stuff, man. It's like lime, pomelo. What's that? Bitter lemon kind of thing, but different. Yeah, this stuff is nice. Just like how those, what's it called? Bolitos? Black balls from Chile, little black chocolate balls that that I miss from Chile. Don't quote me on that. So much doomsday talk, but so far very few actually hospitalized in Canada. Duck multiverse. Yep, that's right. Yeah, and back to that. It's true. It's legit. Lack of capacity in hospitals, thing you got to avoid. There's a worry and a preparation required to a certain extent. Absolutely. And then beyond that, we definitely jumped the shark a bit, and we could come back down. Media doesn't help for that. For that. Hey, from New Zealand. Yeah, you guys closed up relatively fast around the same time, I think, as Argentina. Alistair McIsaac. Wow, that's definitely a proper New Zealand name. Hi, I'm from New Zealand, Pedro. When do you ever have time for a love life? You answer, you always seem too busy for a lady. Yeah, like relationship and all that. Absolutely, man. Definitely. Writing, making videos. There'll be time for that later. But hang in there in New Zealand, man. But how great is New Zealand, right? They're in lockdown. I think it was a total lockdown, right? More than just closing the borders. Population of 5 million, pretty big country. Everything pretty population spread out, except in Auckland, of course, and what's the other city? Christchurch. But I think you're pretty good in New Zealand. Let's see. Stay safe out there, Sean's vlog says. Thanks, dude. Mark Verhaar. Pedro, groeten vanuit Tilburg en stay safe. Groeten terug daar, Mark Verhaar. Greetings to 013, Tilly. That's the city I represent in the Netherlands, yo. Most of the people I still talk to, friends, are from Tilburg. I studied there for 5 years, so 013, je weet. What happened in Brabant, man? Too much carnival. Now everybody's sick. Joe Fernandez, greetings from Germany. Grüße zurück. Let me put this down. I keep doing this. There you go. There we go. I would like, if anybody knows this, how you can split chat to the laptop screen and I could just stream with the phone. But I don't think that's possible, but it would be nice. Pedro, I want to see Mongolia. When are you going to continue the series around the world? Witzkito. Well, Mongolia ended. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's that series. I started when the channel was really small and I really was trouble getting traction. I put a lot of work in those videos. It doesn't matter, early channel, right? But there's some great videos in there. And I'm happy people liked them. But that was the last one in Mongolia. The next thing is I go to Russia. And I ride 5,000 kilometers in 6 days. And I was very unhappy about it, just very stoic. And I almost didn't record a thing until a little bit in Vladivostok. And then I take the ferry to the Russian island. And then I take the ferry to Japan. That would be a great episode. But it's true that there's still so much footage of Japan. And I start recording more in Japan. And then there's Australia. But I can't make those videos, man, while I'm making these videos. Probably, I don't know. Who knows if I catch a lull. And I want to restart that series anyway, because I'm not happy how it went. And maybe one day I'll start the series over when I'm done. And it will be like a afterwards series where it's more, where everything gets narrated or something like that. If I'm still into making series in regards to these travels, of course. But it would be cool to show Japan. And but so much footage is still recorded on a 720p camera. I wish I'd recorded everything on the GoPro, man. But yeah, Japan, Australia, all of it. And then North Island, New Zealand. No videos on that still.
I started on South Island. Greetings from Ireland. Oh no, the chat went away. Now I don't know. Someone gave me greetings from Ireland. Greetings back to the Isle. Oh, you guys are going on lockdown too, I heard. 2 weeks. Let's see. Kivo Nyenga, greetings from Kenya. Love the videos. They are awesome. Cheers, Kivo. Take it easy there in Kenya, man. That would be cool. I hope to get there one day. Kevin Posse, hello from the state of Washington, USA. Love the way you interact with people you meet. Always positive attitude, no judgment. Yeah, that's how you roll, man. For sure. Thanks, man. Very best. Patrick Cooper, very best regards from a small town on the coast of Brittany, France. Be safe, Pedro. I love your travels. Cheers. It's nice to be on the coast. I wish I was on the coast. That would have been nice, like I was in Brazil with not Flavio. Oh man, can't believe it. Motorismo, Harley guy. Desculpa lá, pá, que não sei o teu nome agora. And Bruna and the mama, and oh my God, you know, from when on the group ride. But anyway, I wish I was with him and the family on that beach. It would be great. I think having the ocean next to you is a great place to have the quarantine. And if you get enough of it, you can just, you know, start swimming into the ocean. Are you going to visit Mexico? Guillaume too. I will. That's the plan, man. I'm trying to ride up, but won't be going anywhere soon. Fleming Matson. Hi, Pedro. How long time are you grounded? Well, 9 days now to 13, and they want to add 14 on top. Don't do it, Argentina. Don't do it. Talk to your president. 5 days. Add 5 days more, right? Technologie-evangelist. Waarom heb je nog een baard? Ja, je weet, ik kan niet naar buiten. I only have scissors to trim this. Can't properly trim this. Let's see. Scroll. Ultra scroll. Yeah, now I scrolled a lot. Scroll back down. Did I miss someone's? Oh shit. Forgive my swearing here. T Van D. Thanks for the support, man. I knew I'd miss some messages out there. Cheers, man. You know, the laptop chat is a lot more extensive, but the camera is a potato. Hi, Pedro. Greetings from Haarlem. Which country surprised you most? Niels R. Surprised me most. Japan. If we just talk generally, Japan. That was 2014. And I hadn't planned it till Japan, right? And then I end up on a ferry to Japan, and that was really cool. And then you get to Japan, and I'd never seen a country like Japan. And I always said, and better said, I've never been to a country. I don't know if I say this, but I don't know if that makes any sense. I'd never been, until then, I'd never been to a country whose culture was so much its own still, even if it was westernized. And that was a very unique thing to see. And I hope that a place like Japan, because we move around a lot in a place, immigration and whatnot, but you know, after I saw how unique a place like that was, I hope it stays like that. And I think Japan was the closest you can go to an alien world in a way. And I've been to China before, but the impact of China was not as it was in Japan. I never experienced that. So Japan, in that regard, definitely surprised me. Very unique, very much staying true to itself. That's really cool. Hey, can you describe your riding route so we can follow on a map? Will you stop in the winter? I don't want to stop in the winter, man. If I can, I'll keep going. I rode New Zealand. It's not ideal when 0 degrees, camping out between 0 and -5 every night. I'm on the coast. I'm on the east coast of South America. So, you know, see Brazil, see Uruguay, Montevideo, Buenos Aires, see that on the map. I'm going to follow the coast just a little bit more, and then I'm going to go inland to the Cordillera because I want to get to the mountains. But those are pretty, and that's where all the cool tracks are, yo. That is, if you want to see me riding cool and fun tracks. Hi from Sweden, Stockholm. Cheers, Björn Eklund. Trip to Russia, mainly Moscow, St. Petersburg, or Balkan countries. Which direction would you choose? I was supposed to go on both trips because of the virus. I have to choose. Oh no. Can you loop around Scandinavia? Then I go to Moscow. The Balkans are very nice. Lots of countries, lots of border crossings. Definitely have to pass through Romania, you know. A lot of history there. You'll experience a lot of little different cultures and countries in different states out there in the Balkans. So that's cool. It's beautiful too. Yeah, if you want to go to St. Petersburg, Moscow, yeah, do that. If you can throw in Scandinavia too, then I think you got a proper trip. I don't know where you're coming from, man. Where you're leaving, Freebird Rider. Where you're leaving from? When and what was the reason you had to change from the green Alp to the red Alp? Alistair McIsaac asked. Alp was looking a bit rough, and I had a big crash in Australia. And I put it back together as good as I could. I was looking rough, and I always wanted to do something, and the engine was getting old. So, and then I did a very big job on Alp, and that's how she was born. I wanted to make her look the part again, basically. What are you going to do with your life when you get too old to do these bike trips? I don't know, man. Not that I see this, you know, doing this for the rest of my life, but something that's part of my life will be forever part of my life for sure. I don't know. There's dudes out there riding 60, 70. Throat's getting pretty sore, yo. Oh, stay away, Corona. Has any of your behaviors changed too, in a sense, like even in your own home? You know, sometimes if you drop a chip, you know, or something on the ground, or some food fell on the ground that isn't all icky, sticky, yucky, you just pick it up, you know, eat it. And now it's like, oh, it's been on the ground. It has Corona, man. Throw it away. Especially in like trying to not to walk around the house anymore in shoes and what that come from the street and whatnot. Sarah King, too old. He has decades to go. He's a young pup. I don't know why that came out in Irish, but thanks, Sarah King. That's true. Although time, man. Don't underestimate it. Kevin Posse, thanks for the support, yo. Thank you very much. Let's see. Cheers from Portugal, Lisboa, Pedro Tavares. Obrigado, cara. Força lá, meu. Rui Cesar Bueno says, fala, amigo, como vai a viagem? Passaste na oficina do meu amigo em Rio Grande, Cassino Brasil. I see. In Rio Grande. Ah, yeah. Did we meet? Nos encontramos aí? I have a pen and I have an apple. Apple pen. Oh, is that Indonesian video? I'm thinking about something else. I don't know. I know what you mean, fellow comrade. Dean ML, thanks for the shout out about my country, Romania. Yeah, Romania was dope. It was one of my first trip, Netherlands to Istanbul, 2011. It was one of the highlight countries for sure. You see the modern, you see the old. You know, you could get that Soviet vibe still, and then you have the modern parts of the country too, and beautiful back country there, and big, and the mountains, Carpaths. Romania, Romani. Fellow comrade, Finland. Poland. I was in Scandinavia last year. Ah, I see. Okay. Balkans. Yeah, Russia's cool, but you got to add a bit more to Russia, you know? There's a wild side to Russia. I don't know what you want. There's a wild side to Russia, you know? But then I go, and then I always say, but you can ride really fast to Mongolia and then ride there and come back. But that all depends on how much time you have. Thanks for the extensive answer, Niels Air says. Yeah, no worry. Himalayas, for sure. Like northern India, I would like to go there too. And the countries in that region. Hopefully by that time, hopefully, Afghanistan, Pakistan will have calmed down too more. I think Afghanistan's a wild, if you just roam free in Afghanistan, it would be great. Freenom Bonsarpawe. So this is what happens when you try to read Russian in Latin with the alphabet. It doesn't work. That was me in Russia too with the signs. You know, you're trying to read them. It's like you can't read them. Hello from Russia, Volgorad. Let's drink vodka. Da. Let's do it. Oh man, my vodka drinking days on the road have been long behind me, but there was a time where I was a very prolific. Prolific, is that, well, prolific. Not the word I was looking for, but it's partly true. Very capable vodka drinker. That is, I became a capable vodka drinker in Russia, Mongolia. Mongolia has the worst vodka. That was horrible. But I drank it anyway, and I got better and better at it. And then when you drink proper vodka, all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's nice. We don't stop riding when we get old. We get old when we stop rising or riding. Definitely. Well, yeah. For men, it applies. You know, you're old when you don't ride and you don't rise anymore, for sure, Mr. Solitude. No innuendo intended. So would you trade in Alp? Theo Kuvutz, if you'd have funds or maybe a sponsorship, would you trade in Alp for a heavier bike? Not necessarily heavier. I wouldn't want to make Alp heavier bike. Maybe for some cool heavier bike, someone would just give me like a Tenere 700, which is still on the heavier side, I think. Oh yeah, that would be dope. Or there's a new Africa Twin, right? When is that coming? The lighter Africa Twin. Yeah, dope. That would be, I think those would be a lot of fun to ride. I keep getting the menu here. James Cummings, how many miles has Help got on now? What other bike would you like if you had to choose? Either way, ride safe. Alp has almost had 200,000 kilometers. And the type of bike, well, I just said, you know, that the Tenere, a new Tenere, maybe new Africa Twin, KTM 690 would be cool bikes. Or just a proper dirt bike, you know, one day. Not necessarily for travel, but I would definitely like to get more into trail riding one day, or just pure off-road, like a 400 or something. Now is washing hands all the time. Pedro Tavares says, yeah, me too, man. From the streets, washing hands. Put shopping in the fridge. Oh, okay, let's wash hands again, right? And then an hour later, you grab something from the fridge. No, don't need to wash hands. Now it's okay, you know. It's we're completely. It's funny. If you pay attention to yourself, you're like completely irrational with your decisions, and it's funny to observe, right? And you think like, well, if at least I get this little bit in, it should be all right, right? Hello from Kuwait. How do you cope with filming? It's lots of headache. 690 ADV says, you're not wrong. Over time, you get used to it, and you just have to, I go to, that's Dutch, knoppen, turn the switch, just accept it. Just accept that in that moment, you're stopping, you're in the heat, you're in the rain, you're stopping to record. And the drone added another layer. And as you have seen, I'm saying this because it seems like you enjoyed some of that drone footage that I made. When I grabbed the drone, I don't just want to record something with the drone, but I really want to get some really good footage that represents well what I'm doing, and I can use later to edit something that, you know, really hits home what I'm trying to convey, the experience. And you need to have patience. And the first day with the drone, like trying to follow with getting it to follow me, it was a bit rough. I did get a bit pissed, but again, it's a learning curve, various factors, and it's a learning curve of the drone. But there's also these other things, that is, you get to a point of the day, sunset, golden hour. That's one of the nicest times of the day. But there's multiple things that you might want to do, like a time lapse, do some recording, talk while it's happening. So you don't have time to waste. And I was wasting time when I was working with the drone. It was taking a lot of time. So it can get frustrating. But the better you get, the more used you get to it, the easier it is to accept. You know, that's why I always say too, if you ride, if you have a group of riders and you really want to film, but the others don't, you can't really go together. Maybe to a certain extent, but you know, because someone who records, who wants to record the experience properly, accepts that it takes time, and someone who hates that won't accept it. So those people generally don't mix. But yeah, it takes time to get the shots. And sometimes, like on the beach, by the way, you see me, I end up there at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, the high heat. I wanted to be done with it before that time. And I still had to do the hardest part of the beach. And that was pretty rough. A solid 30 to 40 kilometers was rough. And then you're still stopping to record with the drone and whatnot. And so time passes, and then all of a sudden you're in the hottest time slot of the day. Leonard, Harvey, most here can only dream of what you have experienced so far, eh? True to a certain extent. No, true, but to those who have it in their heads, I do say do it. If you got a plan, make it happen. Don't let your rides be dreams. Just be dreams. Kevin Posse, do you have an Instagram account? Yeah, go to iPedromota, and it's in the top hand of my YouTube page in the banner. Should be a link. Should be a link there to Instagram. I've been a bit more active there. I think a few people are happy with that, right? Pity you didn't start recording until NZ. Well, that's not true. I did start recording. I just never created videos. Well, not of all of it. So not North Island, not Australia. I have heaps of footage, man, of young Pedro. When I was young, man, out and about, all innocent, unknown to the world, you know, not knowing how the world turned around and whatnot. But those times are gone. Yeah, it's weird seeing your younger self all the time. You just watch yourself get older in all these videos you make. Way to go. The recent beach trip and footage was outstanding. Cheers, Wayne. Well, cheers, Wayne. It was fun to make those. A bit more time went into those too. I'm glad you liked it. I'm happy a lot of people liked it. There were some very positive comments, a lot more activity too. Not necessarily more views, but more activity from people. And that's cool. I would like to make videos, and as long as I have the footage to make videos like that, but I might have to shorten it. I will. It's hard for me to shorten it, but I need to start making shorter videos again, or throw in a lot more shorter videos that take less time to make, but still trying to keep that, that quality, that experience in there. Hey, this could be the time to release the old footage, Moidy said. I still got 4 episodes, I think, that I can make. 4. And then we'll see what we do. William Wallace, should I quit my job and sell my house, buy a bike, and travel the world? If you feel like you really want to do that, and it's something that you aspire to, that's sitting there in your head and has been for a while, why not? No wife, no kids, or nothing that makes it all easier. If you can now, go for it. Freebird Rider, thanks for the many answers you give us. No worries, man. Thanks for the nice comment. Cheers. Standing cheers. I think I've been missing some comments again, have I? You should try a new BMW GS, Dean ML said. I don't know, man. Are we talking about the big fellas? Not enough for what I'm doing. Martin Vachkov, are you lonely sometimes riding solo? Yeah, missing friends sometimes. Would be cool to share experiences with them. Mess around on the bike, see cool places, hang out somewhere at the end of the day. Antonio AA, have you visited the USA? And if not, do you plan to do that? Yeah, at some point. I'm trying to get there. Go away, Corona. Go away. By the way, speaking of Corona again, I'm not the most regular fruit and veg buyer, but I bought grapes, right? And I just run the grapes through water, trying to wash them. Normally I rarely wash fruit, and people just look at me like, what? But now it's like, I like to rinse the fruit a little bit. So how would you rinse grapes? Enlighten me. How would you rinse the grapes, clean them? I almost grabbed soap, the detergent, the washing detergent. What's that? The dishwashing soap to clean the grapes, but I ate them already yesterday, so who knows? Because people go to the vegetable stores, and of course they're checking the grapes, right? They grab them. Like, give me 5 minutes. I gotta pick something up. Maybe less minutes. Be right back. Sucks. Now I'm gonna miss all the grape answers. I'll never know. I'm gonna eat Corona grapes. Hold the thought, folks. Gotta sort this out. Hola. Un momento. You hear that? Perfect Spanish. All right, I'll be right back.
moto. Hello, moto.
Back. So we're back. Was the Airbnb lady? See, we're talking yesterday, and I talked about ants in the kitchen as he dropped by some poison. Nice. It's getting the throat. Antiviral. But anyway, I went down the elevator, right? And I'm going to sacrifice myself touching the phone. I shouldn't. So I can show you my Corona life. Right? Here we are. So this is our reality. Does this look familiar, folks? Looks like, oh, get some hot water. We'll kill some more if we use hot water, right? But you can't do it too hot because you'll burn your hands, so it's definitely not going to be warm enough. But, you know, psychologically it feels good, right? What do, folks? Do you get the hands wet first a little bit, or you just get that soap on dry? So here we go. Doing the hands right. This is our Corona life now. Get it in there. Because there's only so many things you can touch with your elbows, but you can't open the elevator with just the elbows. And you know which parts of the doors are safe if everybody's grabbing the corners higher up. You just don't know, man. You guys are on the toilet. Yes, you are.
right, there's that. So how do you deal with this part? So now I'm grabbing my phone again, which I already touched with my Corona hands. You can't win. That's what I'm saying. You just can't win. You can't ride with only your elbows.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, when I was in Bolivia, I would definitely watch out more because I was getting like that. The shit's really bad every time. And sometimes, yeah, you'd have these strangers. You always have these strangers on the road that a lot of times they're drunk. Or they can be a bit sketchy. And they always want to shake your hand. Hey, and they shake your hand. And it's like after that first time I got the shits really bad. In Bolivia, I was more reluctant to be shaking the hands. Or while riding, I was washing my hands more. Yeah, I took the key with me, man. I really got to remember that in an apartment, right? Yeah, you don't want the door to close behind you. Is that a kangaroo on the bike? Yeah, that's a kangaroo. On this, so now I don't know how to clean the grapes. Let's see. What do you guys say about the grapes? 3 drops of bleach in 1 liter of water bowl. Wash the fruits of that. Legit. Like legitly bleaching. What else we got? Oh, they called me the Hello Moto ringtone. Yeah. Hello Moto. Yo, that would be hilarious if I was there outside. Yeah, the comments locked himself out. Jeez, you guys went wild. Skype call. No, it's not as bad as a Skype call. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bloom, bloom, bloom. And that's the worst. Or when they're calling you and you on the phone, you got the phone and the laptop. Somehow Facebook's connected to both at the same time. So now your laptop and your phone is ringing on Facebook. The Motorola. Damn, there's a lot of comments. Sucky, $5. Jeez, look at this activity here. Should go away more often. Had to put on pants. I take a few like 6, 7 and rotate them in between my palms. Sort of what I did. Oh, glad I went back. Pedro Tavares, grande abraço de Portugal. E hope to meet you someday. Igual, cara. Thanks for the support, man. And keep it cool there. The soap will kill you faster than Corona. Could be, man. I wish that I had some coca leaves. Sometimes. All right, so those were more drone shots. Working on those. Working on it. Okay, so now you all have reacted down here. What's going on? What do you know? Russian uncensored words. Sikabliat. 70% alcohol if you're that scared. But oh, that's okay. We used to drink that sort of alcohol in Iran, the 90% stuff. So Iran, it was illegal to buy booze. So you got the bootleg stuff, which is so-so. And sometimes you actually have people who smuggle the improper stuff. But we ended up a couple of times with the locals there at the pharmacy. And then they go, oh, I have a situation, you know. Oh, and then the pharmacist is like, oh, what kind of situation? Oh, no. I'm screwed now. What kind of situation? Oh, yeah, I need alcohol, rubbing alcohol for wounds. Oh, you need this whole flask here? Oh, yes, exactly. So then we take home 90% alcohol from the pharmacy and we put it a little bit in a cup and then add Coke. You drink that stuff, it just goes. It's not ideal, but it worked. And the second time I tasted that was in East Russia with homemade vodka. I had that similar taste. Wash your grapes in vodka. Oh, it would legitly work. No, I washed the grapes. No. In some raki, some Serbian raki, or in some Palenka from Hungary, because that stuff is high octane, man. Good raki, man. Homemade raki. Throttle addiction. Hey, man. Good day from Australia, bloke. You all right, mate? Good to see you again. You've been around for a while in the comments. Alex Petrovic, where are you in Argentina? Buenos Aires. How do you made for workout? Bender asks. Running when I can, and calisthenics, so body weight stuff. And next time I'm somewhere longer, yeah, that would be. I've had the time again to get back into more calisthenics again. But ideally, in a situation like this, you'd want to have a gym at home. That would be sweet. John Kreese, hello from Eau Claire, Wyoming, USA. The 19 growing more each day. I look forward to see back on the road. Yeah, man, me too. 90%, you can put that in your gas tank. Yeah, definitely. That's what they were doing in Brazil, sort of. Are you ever planning on doing a meetup ride in the Netherlands? Jordi van Oosterhout. That seems like something very likely to happen one day. Mike Skidmore, you can get some J.R. Johnson moonshine with various fruits in it. That'd be all right. I don't know if I like the fruits, like too fruity. But some moonshine. I like that. Every country always had that, like that clear alcohol, that clear white, yellowish alcohol. Some traditional form of it. Every country has their moonshine. It's usually not good for this. Run Alp on Palenka. I bet you could, man. On delicious Hungarian Palenka. Rakia. Borislav Kamareshev says. Yep, that's it. That's it. Rakia. Yeah. What did I say before? Oh no, I touched the corner of my mouth. Dang it. Rakia. Where did we drink that? Albania. Yeah, Albania. Thorsten Person, Raki kills everything live. It does, man. How many times have you checked your valve clearances, William Wallace? Well, interesting you say that, because they were in a rough shape, and this engine was rebuilt in New Zealand, right? And so we did almost 30,000 kilometers since then. And I don't know, was it the rear, exhaust valve, which was way out of whack. Like the valve clearance wasn't actually that bad after 150,000 kilometers, but just after 30, it was way out of whack. Adrian looked at that, and that's something I don't really do and should pay more attention to. But he wasn't too impressed by it, says that it could have caused some trouble later on. So that was, Adrian did amazing. Yeah, you guys, I don't know if everyone paid attention, but we did some great work on Alp. And Adrian did some really good work on Alp. And he just kept going sometimes when I said, no, just leave it. Just leave it. There's no way, or like with the throttle, there's no way you can make that throttle nice. No, the throttle is like this, it was like this. Bam, bam, bam. And Alp has the throttle response in Alp is not like this. Oh, wow. It's dope. I like it. Got a jumpy clutch, lifting the front wheel now. Oh yeah, that part I paid. 160 euros for a full original Honda clutch, all the pieces. I went full OM Honda again. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but you pay the cost. Fibers, discs, and springs. Yeah. Let's see. Kaushal Roy, take care. Thank you. You too. Can you get malaria in Buenos Aires? No, I don't think so. No, you shouldn't be able to get that. Not even dengue, but I'm not sure about that one anymore. Not even dengue anymore, but I might be wrong. Bobo Neleg, Pedro, when are you coming to the UK? Well, I'll end up in the UK one day. been a long, long time. I've been to the UK once briefly. Got to ride around, you know, go to Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and all that, you know. Banter about the British. Does your bike need any repairs while you're so many days idle? Well, we already did them. And actually to be working, Alp is locked up, but to be working on that, we would have to go to Adrian's shop and then he would have to travel also. And travel is officially illegal now, so it could complicate things. We did most of the work. Exhaust, I painted the exhaust. Happy with that. Hey Pedro, 2 wheels and a tent. Says, hey Pedro, I was wondering how hard parts would be defined for the newer bikes, KTM 690, where you have been traveling. You have had good luck getting parts except for chain on your trip lately. Well, I could have gotten, the chain was harder, the 525, but I couldn't, I was too bound to the idea of the DID, gold plated chain, and JT sprocket. You can get other Chinese stuff that works too. For the KTM, I don't know, but you know, it's easier in a country like Brazil and Argentina, Chile. It's in these kind of countries, in the more developed countries like that out here, it's not as bad as it used to. It gets easier and easier in the parts department. And that being said, I once got, when I burned my clutch in Kazakhstan, I had an EBC clutch sent from Germany to, that was to a main city, of course. What was the name on the east? Not the capital, but the cultural capital. Forgot. And the clutch got sent there in 3 days, but it was a bit expensive, of course. There's a way to get parts fast, but that's a lot harder here in South America. But yeah, it's not 2000 and it's definitely not the time before that. But the more exotic your bike, of course, the harder it is. And the more expensive. Ben the bike, has Alp had any upgrades other than the fairing? My 93 is still stock, other than big burbly exhaust and tall screen. Yeah, Alp has had quite a few. So yeah, you got the rally fairing with the twin headlight and a dash. The speedometer replaced the original one because that one just got destroyed. The Kozo speedometer, you know, the 12-volt socket. Well, they had one before, the USB charger, progressive spring in the suspension, still original suspension, but with progressive spring in the front fork, front and rear blinkers to LED, and not 80s, early 90s anymore, giant blinkers, you know. Mirrors, rear light changed to LED, secondary power system, power cable tree. What would you call that? Secondary power system. I might be missing a thing or two. A little flap at the bottom of the rear wheel, the mud guard, to keep mud from going to the suspension, because that gets covered in mud and degrades the suspension faster. I'm probably missing a thing or two, but if you want to know, go check out the Make Alp Great Again project and you'll see a lot of things going on. Gee, what other, oh no, touching my nose again. Gee, what other moto vloggers do you watch when you have the time? I actually barely watch other people ride because I ride so much, and those are the videos that I make. So I'm not really enticed to do that. I watch other entertainment on YouTube for sure. But there's one guy though that I like. If he posts, I'm watching the whole thing, and that's Ed Marsh and C90 Adventures. Sometimes something might pop up from Lyndon Poshkit and see what he's up to. Last time I saw something of him was in Africa, but yeah, the C90 Ed Marsh, he makes like, it's like, you know how a TV program is put together. He puts so much effort in his series, in what he makes. and the way the YouTube algorithm works, especially nowadays, you don't get rewarded for that, and that's huge BS. And that's why the way YouTube works is not a good way. There should be different ways to send signals, because he makes quality stuff. It's like, it's real, it's legit, and so much goes into that. No, I have not seen much. Yeah, from C90 Adventures. You know, like, I wouldn't necessarily even ride a C90, right? I wouldn't even do it, but I get it why. You know, I always say you can ride any motorbike. Go for it if you want to. And I rode my 110cc bike in Vietnam, you know, and scooters. It was so much fun. But, you know, his experience of it, how he does it, it's legit, it's real. And he travels with a girlfriend with a while, and his things that are on his mind, it's all real, and it all comes out. And yeah, I don't know if he's posting because he has other things to do. Maybe he thinks that it's not worth it anymore. I don't know. Definitely more time in between them. And if I look at how the new videos did later, they compared to his older stuff, they didn't do well. And as in the amount of views, it's really deserved. And that sucks so much. That I know, and I know why that is. You know, it's so messed up. It doesn't make any sense, but I know why that is. But his where was it? His Central America stuff, and some and the crossing of North Canada, you know, in the snow and whatnot. It's like, it was so much fun. And when I was in Chile, and I was stationary for a while, really poor, and turning around, you know, what I was doing and focusing more on YouTube, and where I had moments where it was more difficult, and I'm thinking, like, sometimes, well, what the hell are you doing, dude? And I watched him. I definitely had one time when I watched his series, and it just put, you know, like how people say, "Oh, Pedro, it's so nice to watch you," etc., etc. I watched him, and I was inspired, you know, to find again, in maybe a little harder time, to find some love again for what I knew something that I already knew what it was, but to rekindle out, to you know, to have an experience, to find that love again for something, but with to see through someone's eyes, something that I love doing so much, made me again reappreciate what I was doing in a way. And yeah, that was really cool. What was it? Was it the Central America stuff? It's just, storytelling is immense. Ed Marge is a guide, could be. Someone wants to me to be a guide for him in Bolivia. You know, if you remember from Bolivia videos, briefly, Juan Carlos Salvatierra, the Dakar rider. And before I left already, or I just left to Brazil, and he said, you know, I'm preparing something, and I would like you, if I go through with it, if I make it, for you to be a guide. So who knows, maybe I might, I don't know if it will happen, because that would be in Bolivia, who knows, on the way up, but, you know, he would like me to be a guide. I don't know if that's a good thing, man. You know? Can you imagine me as a guide? Okay, let's go do this thing here. No, don't worry about it, man. Just let's go. And I would be responsible for people. And then I think, like, but I know I always mess up at some point. And it's like, how, you know, can you mess up as a trip leader? Are you allowed to mess up? That, you know, 3 days into some gnarly ride, and and your guide does something stupid, that you know, that wouldn't inspire, right? Manuel Gaspar Martins, I would follow you, man. Cheers. Cheers. He doesn't, Paul Noguera says, he doesn't post since last April 11. Yeah, that's rough. But look, his videos, right? His videos, voiceover, dude, like voiceover. So voiceover also means a script. You got to sit down. Audio is hard. So you sit down, you try to find an environment to record audio. I've been there, man. It's rough ass. So much work goes into those videos. And then imagine, just, you know, after all that work, and you're not pulling at least 100,000 views. You know, it's not productive. YouTube can be a bit of an up and down, but if you don't get recognition for, you know, time and time after again for your work, not necessarily the people in the comments, that's great, but it's like at one point when you put some certain amount of effort, you also expect a certain return in the system. You know, you put the coins into the machine, you expect, but if time and time again no return comes out of it, it's rough, man. It can be rough. Jim Nomad, YouTube algorithm like quantity over quality. There's truth to that, but there's also quality can work, but you need a basis, a good basis. Then you need the consistency within that. If you have a certain quality, let's say once a week, 2 weeks, you can be successful like that too. But then you have to be consistent within that too. Takes. But you need a bigger basis first. Ed spends days in hotel rooms. Yeah, I've seen his clips in between, no doubt about it. Just the videos that I make, the ones what you seen recently with the drone, that both videos. When I cut something like these last videos, they were all hour long. As in when I cut the footage that I could use, and then I have a first cut, I call it the base cut, and then the base cut. The last 3 videos has been 40 minutes, and it's not fun to have 40 minutes base cut because I always want to stay under 20. And it's the time to go through a lot of footage that takes time. So all in all, and then the more camera angles you use, and you want to make a complete experience, that takes time, not just to throw things on there and done. So those videos take, you know, we're going towards 20 hours again. And that's me with experience, boom, 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 knowing how to do this. It would take a lot longer if I didn't have the experience. And that's just no voiceover and basically one day. We're talking about a proper day, you know? So usually when an editor says, oh, it takes me a day, it's pretty much saying it takes me 2 working days. So if a work day is about what, 7-8 hours? Yeah, you're spending 16 hours, 15, 16 hours on a video, easy. Jacques Lucassen, Dean, I think, yeah, mate. I think I checked out his YouTube channel a while back. How did I? Yeah, because I was looking into North Pole stuff, and I'd seen about him years before already, with the R1 and the desert and whatnot. Yeah, the Dutch guy. And he's working on a big project, but it goes pretty slow, but it looks like he wants to make something happen to the North Pole. I love that. You know, like that's when I get to Canada, North America, and I want to time it. It needs to be timed well because I want to do the big Alaska loop. But I would like to go to the Alaska through the traditional route and then try to get up into North Canada. But it needs to be summer. How cool is that, North Pole, man? And there's a Japanese guy who did that in the 90s. He made the suit. And it was just on the motorbike. And I didn't know if he had a support crew or not. But he would have his suit would be connected to his exhaust. So I think that's right, if I'm correct. He would use the exhaust fumes to keep warm. That's brilliant, right? I love that sort of shit. But you know, North Pole, cold is real. What's the worst? The heat you can get away from if you can find the shadow. The cold, you can't get away from the cold. You can't sit still in the cold too. So cold is real. Joppe Vermoed, Pedro, appreciate the work you put in the videos. Dankjewel, man. Cheers. You know, it is fun to see when people do it, when it really resonates with people. It's just sometimes with YouTube, it's like, yo, come on, man. Come on, YouTube. Be cool, bro. Gareth, Pedro, does your YouTube income cover your living travel costs, or are you also using savings? No, it doesn't cover, and it's also the support of the people that keeps me going, and the Patreon stuff. And at the moment, also It's also based on YouTube, based on eCPM, you know, what you get per 1,000 views and whatnot. It's like a Google advertisement thing too for websites. And that's been lower since the last 10 days, 10, 15 days. It's like almost back to January levels. And January is the worst month. And I think it has to do with the coronavirus. So it's affecting the YouTube income. It's not something you can really depend on unless you're in the high views category. Saddle tramp. I usually try to keep my vids under 10 minutes, but a lot of times they end up being under 15. Yeah, well, that's it, man. Story of my life. I already know that if the base cuts 40 minutes, I'm in trouble. So then you're just working really hard to get down under 20. Yeah. Well, that's why I split them up sometimes, though. You know, I get a base cut and it's like, nah, forget about it. We're going to split this one up. Andre Costa, it's a lot of work for sure. Everyone can tell you have a lot of experience editing, man. Thanks, man. A lot of time sitting on a bed or behind a desk. I don't really have a proper desk here. I was promised a desk, but it's not really a table. It's one of those unfold tables. But they've bolted the thing together, so I can't make a table. It's one, you know, it's one of these. Look where my shins are. I can't edit. But I still try to edit here. So it's a mix of sitting on the bed and editing here because it's nice to edit with the mouse. But that's it. I was expecting a table. But yeah, it's the only Airbnb, right? There's no more Airbnbs available out there. So North Canada is bugs and bears. Biting flies too, probably, eh? Oh yeah, Mike Skidmore, back in the day splicing. Yeah, well, that Warren Miller story you're telling. Yeah, imagine back then, right? To make a tape, and you know, who knows how many people would see it, right? Yeah, it was a time when all that traveling footage, you know, first the books were unique, and then the videos, the tapes, and then came the series, of course, with Ewan and whatnot, and then came YouTube. But I saw Ewan before. Long way around. And then years later, I saw Moto Mundi Enduro from early 90s, these 4 or 5 guys riding to the end of Russia when it was still rough, you know, the glory days. And it's funny that I didn't find it that special anymore, while that was heaps harder than a long way around, right? But that's because I already seen so much more. But yeah, you really have to switch it off and look at these guys in the early 90s, you know, recording with their camcorders, and yeah, that video was distributed on videotape. Probably some old timer out there remember that. What was it called? Moto Mundi Enduro. I don't want to touch my face. Got corona on the phone. Where has been the best and also the worst place that you have spent your birthday at? Well, my last birthday was tremendously uneventful in North Argentina. I was doing a visa run. I had a cool one in Iran with the people that I met there. Cool one in Australia when I ended up with my broken hand after the crash in Perth, with people who let me stay with them for 3 months, you know, and offered me great support. And probably another nice one. Had more than a few birthdays on the road. Mike Skidmore told him his narrations were bad. 50 years later, Warren was famous for his humorous commentary. Oh, really? Duck. Moose kill more people in Canada than bears, though. You know, you don't want any one of those for your windshield. Especially not. Are moose, you know, are moose dawn or dusk animals like in Australia, or are they like any time of the day? What do they say in Canada? Any time of the day, Mark Hofman, where in Holland do you come from? I grew up around Eindhoven and then I studied in Tilburg. So growing up in high school in high school in Eindhoven and Eindje and education, vervolgopleiding, university in Tilburg, 013. Griffin 36, how much languages can you speak? Free, that's supposedly well, but sometimes when I try to speak Dutch in the chat on WhatsApp, you know, it's terrible. I make some horrible sentences sometimes. So Portuguese, Dutch, and English, and then some Spanish, a little bit of French. If I skip the ads, you get paid less. Yes, James Riley, you gotta watch them. Gotta watch them, man. Gotta keep this show on the road. Even if they're like, you know, the ones like 6 minutes, man, you gotta watch them. That's all right. Don't worry about it. You get the 6 minutes one. If you want to watch it, go for it. But they have like the 30-second one, right? And then they can have like a 2-minute one, or you have a 2-minute one and then a 30-second one. So they do 2 in a row. But yeah, if you skip them, they don't count. Jason Spallin, enjoy the videos. Always look fun. Gonna miss him. Hopefully not for long, man. Hopefully we can get through this without missing them. I got 3 in the pipeline, and let's see. Right, I'll share my train of thought with these sorts of things then. So we're in Uruguay now, so we go the ride to Montevideo. Not too much happens, I think. After Montevideo, we almost make it to the border. I don't know if that's enough for an episode, so we'll probably squeeze that together too with arriving in Buenos Aires. That's 2 days, but could be free. But let's say 2. And then in Buenos Aires, working on the bike with Adrian. That's free, potentially 4. And then we have the Corona special. I don't know about that. I recorded a little bit here and there of this situation, but I still need to record enough for that. So we have 4 episodes, pretty much, at least still. With the extension of 12 days, if I do 2 a week, yeah, we can still make it. CSI Auto Detail. What's up, man? Repeat question. What would you do if your bike breaks down in the middle of nowhere, like the desert beach you crossed? Look, I remember a quote. I was riding, maybe didn't hear it, but yeah, I was happy once I got to the pine trees again, because I said, look, if we get in trouble, look, we're at the pine trees. If we get in trouble, I can shade there and wait till later in the day. And then, you know, if I got to walk, you know, it's not fun to walk 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. But you're not going to start doing it in the hottest part of the day. So you come back. Okay. I'm not going to say anything because that usually gets cut off after connection was lost. Yeah. So you think, okay, the trees are there, so I can walk to safety. Once I found the lighthouse, I was like, well, maybe I can return to the lighthouse in the worst case, right? That would be a night walk though, because there's no shade. But there was a big lagoon in between that desert too. And then there's the main road, but that's still from beach to the end of the lagoon to main road. That's a solid 30 kilometers, you know, 35, 40. Are you going to swim across the lagoon? What are you going to do? You have an idea. And that's why Australia is so messed up, you know, because Australia, it's like, you're not going to walk out of it. That's how messed up, like places you go to in Australia, it's like, you can't walk out of it. Renato Francisco, just go to the middle of nowhere to run from the COVID. Oh man, Alps locked up, man. Before I can probably ride 2 free blocks, but then some cop will probably stop me for sure. There's all these cops and motorbikes and quads riding around. Foreign bike with a foreign license plate. You think they're gonna like that? Get him, get the gringo. He's got the COVID. He's got the Wuhan. He's riding around with the bat soup special. I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely cut down on my my bat soup consumption. So you guys should do too. What would you do if you had a catastrophic engine failure? Well, I would sit down and think about it. Yeah. And then you would sit down, assess while feeling terrible, let your mind race for a little bit, and then wait probably half an hour before you start making some real decisions. And you start to see what water you have. You generally already know that. What food do you have? And where are you? How far out are you? Where can you get to? Should you walk away from your vehicle? That's the next one, right? So can you arrange something? I usually think that up to at least 30, 40 kilometers, 50, something is doable to get away from the vehicle, right? Depending on water. Food is not that. Water is the real champ in those situations, what you really need. And that's something you can decide to walk away. But like I was saying, in Australia, you easily, end up in a place where you would have to walk 400 kilometers. Yeah, forget about it, right? So then, do you stay by the road, or do you walk? Maybe you're on a split off of a mildly traveled road, but you're on some track. So, okay, you're going to walk back maybe those 40 kilometers on wait on that road, bring the tent along. What do you bring along? Bring the tent so you can get some shade during the day, walk at night. It depends. Are you in the cold or are you in the heat? Yeah. But yeah, that's what do you do when you got to enter less Strout mode. Any predictions on when you're heading out of Buenos Aires? Yeah, the 1st of April, but that's already, I think, that's the early April Fool's joke the Argentinian government made, because they're going to extend it longer, I reckon. So halfway this month. I hope not, but it's looking like that. Let's see. Kevin Raymond, thanks for the support, man. Are you still considering riding across the Darien Gaps? Thanks for all the great content. Yeah, it's on my mind. I talked about it earlier. But it's the main issue is like, how will the Panama government receive me on the other side without an official border station, Hey, hello. Yeah, I came from Colombia. Could you guys be so kind to stamp me in? Thank you very much. Guilherme Costa, sopa de morcego, uma delícia. Para, cara. Não mais. Não pode comer mais. Manuel Brito, where are you exactly? Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hey, did we really lose the stream earlier? It's back to 30 minutes. I've been talking longer, and we've been longer than that, right? Mike Skidmore, do you have a Garmin in reach? Satellite texting? No, I don't. Garmin is just something more, navigation is just something more to babysit. And for now, it does the trick, the phone. If one day, if I end up on a much lighter bike and I go do some, full on off-roading, that what I have in mind. So no track, just nothing, just navigating landscape. Then I would get, I think, a dedicated nav for that. And in the previous stream, I said that the way I look at this kind of travel, I don't want to have a satellite receiver. I don't want to have a spot because the OG guys that used to do this back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, they didn't have satellite phones. Well, they could have had, but it was uncommon. They didn't have those things. They don't have that backup support, and you got to figure it out on your own, and I don't know. I say that, by the way, I always say this, if you're a dad if you've got a family, I'm talking about you have kids, right? Bring satellite along. Do it. You know, it's for them. But for me, I think that for that kind of ride, to keep it real, and that's for me, right? You do whatever you got to do. Yeah, you got to figure it out. So you, if something bad ever really happens to me, that's going to be great, right? In the compilation video, they're going to cut this bit out, you know, and show you that. Oh, if only. But you know, let's count on keep making the right decisions or the correct bad decisions, you know, and hopefully we'll be able always to deal with the situation at hand. Wessel Style, what drone do you use? Is it dark in here? I'm getting all greenish and dark. What drone do you use? Mavic Pro, the first. And we've been having, it's been good, growing pains, trying to learn the Mavic, understanding it. I still haven't figured out properly the follow me mode. Active track is what you've been seeing, but I would like to get follow me because that follows you by GPS, which is really neat for far away shots. But yeah, pretty cool. I've seen its limitations in the window, and even the smaller Mavics are even worse. So I worry a bit for Patagonia. Greg Ferris, what would you like your next bike? Well, like I said, you know, Tenere 700, a light Africa Twin, you know, fun light bike, maybe to get into the dirt. But I don't really think about other bikes generally. I just know, oh, that's a cool bike. Favorite bike would be just someone get me a nice Dakar bike, you know, flick me one. And I know that the reality that even Dakar riders have trouble getting a Dakar bike, so a hard time. Real lockdown as in Europe, is it the same in Brazil and Uruguay? Argentina, proper lockdown, yeah. You can get in trouble with the law. They'll stop you. What was Uruguay? Brazil doesn't have a full lockdown, depending on state by state. The government there wants to keep people still, I think, still working. I think they have like a limited lockdown or more a social lockdown. I think it's more in line with what they're doing in the Netherlands. But of course, a much larger population. Brazil's like the United States of South America, you know, over 200 million people. But they're doing something similar to the Netherlands, I imagine. I don't know what they're doing in Uruguay. Probably lockdown. Uruguay, not much happening. Their population density is so small. Let's see. Two-ton lizard. Hey Pedro, how much of a financial imposition is it for you to stay still? Oh yeah, well, I answered something like that earlier. The financial implications currently, yeah, I am paying more than what I usually pay to stay somewhere, at least for a longer time. I don't like that, but that at the moment is how it is. And made some quick decision on that day to get the Airbnb. It's actually not that bad, but for a longer time, I would rather at least have a fewer euros, less 5 euros less a day than this. But I'm glad I got something because then Airbnb got completely shut down in in Argentina. Go check out Airbnb if you want, by the way. You can see, if you don't put a date, you can see locations, right? And put any date before the 1st of April, you'll see nothing. Well, what I also keep saying though, at least I'm not in Uruguay. It has nothing to do, my dear Uruguayans, with your country. It's a beautiful place. It has to do with, it was very expensive Uruguay and it's relatively small. So if they lift the quarantine, but you can go around the country, but not leave the country, or the border are closed, the borders are closed, there's still this whole stretch of country. Yeah, if I was in Uruguay, I would be hemorrhaging some real money. But yeah, it's a bit of a hit, but you know, people everywhere are taking hits in that regard. So when it comes to the money. Wessel Style, thanks for the nice comment about my drone footage. Carlos Carvalho, you were born in Portugal from a Portuguese family, considering the name and surname, raised in Holland. Where did you learn English that well? I just grew up with it. And I think I heard English speaking a lot around me. And we had English speaking neighbors. We even had American neighbors for a while. And then the TV. So Dutch education is great to learn English. But I was on it already at a young age. I still have memories. Some of my earliest memories are talking English to kids in third grade. No, probably second or third grade. I don't know what I was saying, but I don't know what the hell I was saying, but they of course didn't understand, I imagine, things. So I was just a 5-6-year-old talking gibberish, but it came since a young age. But definitely some Dutchisms that they're in there, and they creep on me sometimes. I actually cut a bit from a video. I was going to leave it in, but then I had to shorten the video. What did I say? Oh, I forgot. It was such a Dutch thing. I just it's a Dutch and just Anglified something Dutch. Oh yeah, I said it was a shrill contrast. Sometimes I have to look up, like, hey, wait a second, is what I'm saying? Am I saying something? And sometimes some Dutchisms slip out. A shrill contrast does not exist in English. Mike Skidmore, you mean all Airbnb are full now? Not necessarily. All Airbnb has been disabled. This is what happened. We're in Argentina already a week before the quarantine, and hotels weren't allowed anymore to take in Argentinian nationals. So this was 2.5, almost 3 weeks ago. No more Argentinian nationals were allowed to stay at hotels. So hotels are losing clientele. So at one point, it was just me and this Canadian guy at the hotel where I was. And then I left on the first quarantine day, and he left on the third back to Canada. And then he had to self-quarantine probably once he got there. He's probably still in self-quarantine. And then the hotels take no one. So I still got Airbnb on the first day, but then someone along the way, when I wanted to extend, I couldn't pay with the credit card. There were no days available. And then I saw that Airbnb has been disabled across the board. So even I think officially foreigners could get a hotel. It would be hard, but Airbnb just completely disabled for Argentina. So there are available, but you just can't get them. What you would have to do is contact them and see if, not put a date, see what's around, contact them and see if they would take you. What are you eating there? Are you taking any proteins? Johnny Carr. Milk? Eggs? What am I eating? Pasta, rice, ravioli, ham, cheese. Yeah, I made some basic bachelor foods. I'm evolving. I got some fresh fruit. I think I'm going to cook some vegetables tonight. Big evolution. I got a nice ají, a green pepper. It's very popular in Chile. Very nice. I got some garlic, got some onions. Yeah, we're going to have a proper meal tonight, but I still don't have proper meat. I didn't go to the butcher. So we're eating ghetto burgers and those sausages, those just carbs, just useless carbs, no real meat. There's more meat in the ham and the prosciutto that I eat than in those meats. Mike Skidmore, West. All guest houses in South Africa are closed due to Corona for 21 days. Yeah. So, it's all these sectors suffering financially, man. It's a big domino cascade. It's no bueno, man. This can't be good. Can be good. Oh, I need to get the drink. Sometime Corona. Oh yeah, that song? I've been having it ever since Corona got, my Sharona, and then replaced it with Corona. And then I made the worst mistake out of curiosity to check on YouTube, and someone made a Corona song with that song. Now it's on repeat in my head. Anyway, it's going to be tough if you need a long quarantine in Buenos Aires. Yeah. So you don't need 20, it would total to 23, 24 days. I don't think you need that long. I'm planning to sleep in the countryside, nice places with the tent. It depends on what day of the week, in regards to, with video making. I can't camp everywhere. Well, if I would live in a tent, I would like I did in New Zealand, I wouldn't be able to make the videos. Do you have a small portable stove when you camp out? Greg Ferris. No. So I just make fires. And I did that a lot in Australia, and that was cool. They stole my pots and pans, man. It had a bag on top, and they stole it in front of the Macca's and on South Island. Where was it? It was a bit known as a bit of a ghetto city out there on South Island. I was making video in the McDonald's till like 10, 11 p.m. and they took my bag, and I had pots and pans. Because I used to cook some rice in a can of tuna, the bigger can of tuna, and then it started rusting. I was like, dude, come on, get some pans. And I used that in Australia, New Zealand. In New Zealand, I had less fires. A lot of you aren't actually allowed to make fires in a lot of places, but in Australia, it's you got to be smart about it. You make a fire, and nobody's there to see you. New Zealand was a lot smaller, so less fires. So I would cook up some rice or some pasta, throw in some tuna, maybe some spinach. James Riley, thanks for the support, man. You can leave a message too, mate, and I'll read it. But thank you very much. And everyone's in lockdown. This could easily last 6+ months. Scott Thomas, I know, but not a lockdown. You can't do that. That's the whole thing. That's not going to work with people. Big game changer would be, of course, if you get that serious mutation, if that's a thing. But I think we understand the lethality of it now and the range of people it affects. And it annoys me tremendously when the media then make a big deal. Oh, like a young person got it, or a young person died. Just terrible, of course. But in the scheme of things, it's that 1%, it's that 0.05% that in how statistics work that it's supposed to happen. And then they blow that up again. Be fearful. But the more we understand, I think the more smarter we can be about it. Protect the elder. Continue, 6 months, you can be smart about older people. You can be smart about how you conduct yourself out there. How you are on the street, how you enter in contact with people. You can be smart about it, but you can't keep the people 6 months inside, or even shorter time than that, for that matter. Like, what if we're talking about like plague apocalypse and whatnot? Yeah, okay, you got a real serious scenario there. I don't think that we're there. What's the meaning of the bunny? The kangaroo, Rui, Simon Brundu asked. I found him, clean him up, and chuck him on there while I was in Australia. He used to be squished behind the windscreen, and he actually damaged the windscreen, the clear plastic, and left a mark. But yeah, that's what happens. And it's been a long since. I don't even remember where I found him, man. Sorry for the theft in New Zealand, Alistair. It happens. Where was it? You're gonna laugh. It's like, where's that place? What's the place where you get stabbed in the UK? It's Shottingham. Is that Nottingham? It's where you get stabbed or shot. There's always that place in the country where people say, "Oh man, that's ghetto there. Watch out there," where people banter about. And this was that place in New Zealand. South Island. No, not Invercargill. Invercargill is too, sturdy, serious, hardworking people there. No nonsense. But where was it? It was I'm gonna find it. I'm looking at New Zealand right now. I'm gonna remember it. Once I say it, you're gonna be like, ah, yeah, of course. Ah, yeah, I'm looking at. Oh, it's been. I used to watch South Island, the map of South Island, all the time. Taking me back, man. I got so much footage. Kaikoura. Yes. Oh, where was it, mate? Timaru. Dunedin. I know it's Dunedin. Was it on the South Island? Was it on the North Island? No, North Island. Yeah, I'm getting close. It was Hastings or it was Napier. That's where it got stolen. Which one is? I think Napier was the nice one, right? And Hastings is known as watch out, mate. Gonna get robbed. I think it's Hastings. Hastings already got stolen. Mark Hoffman, what brand of tire is on Alp? On the back, I got a Shinko 805. Love it. Want another one. And in the front, I still got the Shinko 705. Hokitika. Hokitika. How long since the last time you've been home? Well, when my uncle got in trouble with his health, so I went back end of 2000. Jesus, 18 already? Damn. Yeah, it's been, and last time it was from like November 2018 to January 2019. But I hadn't been back to the Netherlands in over 4 years. I was going to see a family member who wasn't in good health. Now, how do you stick the boomerang? It's still there, man. It's stitched, but it's getting slowly weaker, I think. But it impresses me how it's still there. I think some of you are going to be so upset when Rui loses the boomerang. Sávio P, olá Pedro, bom te ver bem e com saúde. Você também, meu. Santa Teresa, fica bem, cuidado. Cuida-te. Haha, Hastings, bro. Cheer, bro. Fish and chips. Fish and chips, bro. Hastings, absolutely dodgy. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Sitting, just leaving Alp in front of the Macca's, slightly out of sight. And I camped around Hastings, eh? I camped almost everywhere in New Zealand. Bloody Hastings, eh? And then I think I had a shower in Napier, public shower, one of the few showers I would have in New Zealand because it was so cold all the time when I was wearing my undies and thermals just nonstop. It's okay in the cold because you don't sweat. Dirse Gera. Good luck from Australia. Tudo de bom. Keep riding. I had to cancel my trip to South America. Sucks. I had a bike waiting for me in Acre, Brazil. Make a best of series. Grande abraço. Obrigado, Diriceu, and thanks for the support. And yeah, you'll be able to do it again at some point. What made you do all those trips? Was it a girl? Was it curiosity or what? Give me a reason to do the same though. Johnny Carr. It basically comes down and it's zweverig, as they say in Dutch, floaty, my reasons. But for me, while I was in uni, I was just there. I'm going to do things differently. I want to do something else. I'm going to take a different route, and this stuck. And then this trip, it seems like something I wanted to do. I really enjoyed it, that kind of riding, and I wanted to do more of it. And I decided, let's go. But it was, the main reason was to get away from, I only know the like the cliche romantic way saying it is to walk the unbeaten, to ride the unbeaten path in a way. It seemed more interesting for me. And that's how I ended up doing it. If you want to go, go. Don't have to do it as long as I do. But if you feel like, yeah, that's something that I want to do it for weeks, months, half a year, a year. So you want to go visit your uncle in Alaska, Mike, because he doesn't pick up the phone? Yeah, that's a good excuse for a ride. Internet's bad too. Yeah, man, just do it. See, has anyone tried to steal Alp? I don't know, John Spicer. Maybe they've maybe a time or two where I came back and something looked a bit funky. You know how once you know your bike, you can recognize like something's off. But generally, there have been times like I'm walking down from the stairs or leaving someone's house in the morning, and I'm like, okay, is it still there? I rode with a chain, with a lock chain all the way till Australia still. And then I got rid of it there. I rode with like 5 kilos. I was going to say for nothing, but I used the chain about 2 times. One time was in Iran, in Bandar Abbas in the south, rowdy as port city. And it was in these alleys after alley after alley after alley where there was a little semi-sketchy hotel that I found late at night. And I tied Alp to one of those window bars, that steel bars in front of a window. It's like, okay. But Alp was still there in the morning. One time in Romania where I was like, oh, I hope he's still there. She's still there. But, I never seen signs of serious, okay, they really tried to steal her here. Let's say Simon Brund, don't fly drones over military zones, lol, Savio. Yeah, I gotta be careful. Buonanotte, Pedro, Simone, Brundo. Take care and stay safe. You too, and hopefully in Italy everything gets resolved at one point too, because that is rough out there, right? Scott Thomas, the road last traveled. Good point. I was getting a bit hungry, thirsty, so I'm not finding the words, the eloquence needed to describe that sort of thing, but that's it. Some grass was greener on the other side, and I went for it. And still life is life, even on the other side, as with anything you decide to do. Let's see. Me. Mike Skidmore. Yeah, snail mail. That's right. You got to be your own postman, man. Let's go do it. Trevor Maliff. I enjoy you because you push the limits. I think sometimes he's right in the crap now. Yes, sometimes I might be in the crap. All right. It's like, I don't worry too much about this sort of thing. There was one comment, it's like, why do you ride so fast? And there was moments where I was on the beach riding faster than necessary. But then there's mostly stretches on the beach where I'm riding as fast as that's possible with the traction right. And that's 80, 85. And then people might be like, wow, that's too fast. And there was only one comment like that. It's too fast, man. Why you ride too fast? And I'm like, hey, that's the least the speed you gotta ride out there. It's safer to go faster unless there's ditches, of course. But you gotta go fast, as in you gotta do at least 80, no, at least 90 to get for some of that stuff. And you just pause that video at some point when I deflated the tire a bit, right? And when I'm trying to get it out, look ahead and see that terrain, right? That's just pure like gravel, but these are broken down shells, and almost the whole beach and up, it's completely soft, a bit muddy. But imagine just kilometers followed by kilometers of that. And you're riding that and it gets hilly. You just can't stop. And I shouldn't have stopped there, but I did because I want to let the air out of the tire because I was barely keeping 70. But to stay upright, you gotta hit that. When I'm hitting that, it's like, oh man, just keep your cool. But that it gets a bit riskier because you can get stuck. I mean, you can't go fast enough to get through some really soft stuff that wiggles, and then with elevations or what, you can lose that front end and fall. Ideally, you want to keep doing 90. And I've had plenty of times where 90 doing 100 feels scary. Your mind's going, don't do this, slow down. It's like, no, you got to keep this speed. It's more dangerous to slow down. So sometimes what you think, like I'm going to hit the crap, but you get used to it. You just get used to with the madness. Was this very illogical? It doesn't make any sense. Faster to be safer. You get used to it. You just got to get the experience in. Oh, Australia, sometimes some corrugations. Oh, mate, it's like, this is not safe. This is not safe. 110, pushing 120, to get, because those were bad sandy corrugations. And it's like, this is not good. But you slow down, and that's when you fall. Let's say, hold the conversation. Love your vlog, bro. Tune in next time. Safe travels. Cheers, man. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Monday, probably the next episode. All right, peoples. I think people are logging off a little bit already. And show's an hour now, but I think, oh man, 2.5 hours probably, right? Jeez, we've been at it again. I think it's time to slowly say my goodbyes again, people. But with all this madness going on, I hope everyone can manage to keep their cool. I'm a bit natural at this. I don't mind a bit of isolation. I just don't like the thing of being completely, as in, normally I could move whenever I wanted to, and now I can't, and Alp is stuck in some paid garage that isn't manned anymore. Also, once I get there, I don't like how it's going to be. I hope I don't have an argument, because I wanted to get him out on the first quarantine day, but it was locked. And do they want me to pay for all those days? It's like, I was going to take him out, but no one's here. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, yeah. For me, it's not that rough. It's just, time slipping away. Good time to go down south. But I know there's a lot of very social out there people that it's a lot more rougher for. Or not being able to go to work, you worry about that. Yeah, that's, hang in there, be strong. I mean that somewhere. It sounds weird, but I mean that, because it's getting rough for people out there. And I hope you manage to keep it cool, not go nuts. And in some places, it's still going to get worse, as in the decisions they're going to take for you. And it's going to be interesting. I think the discussion is going to split over time more and more between camps. And I hope people can still reach out to each other, because, everything's extreme nowadays. So hope people will be able to hear each other out in how to further deal with this over time. So hang in there, peeps. And I'll keep making videos while I still can, while I still have footage. But if I don't, I'll come up with something else. TikTok videos, yes. That's what we're going to do. Just TikTok videos. Take care. Be safe, folks. Cheers, Leonard. How are you? Adios, amigo. It's all about the ride, keeping it alive. Yes, you have to do it. Thanks for your great content. Appreciate it. Hugo Fernandez. Oh, got a leaky eye. Oh, it's been all that eye scratching. Better not be. There's some corona in the eye. God dang it. Renee M., thanks, Pedro, for your time and insights from Queensland. Oh, mate. Take it easy there in Queensland. Queensland's another beast, eh? Or am I thinking about, yeah, Queensland's a different beast, and even more so, what is it? What's Darwin State? What's the Northern Territory, People already have enough issues keeping their cool out there with the heat and whatnot, and the hungry crocs. So imagine being in quarantine to boot. John Crease, cheers, man. Damon, sleep tight. I got about 5 hours before I go to bed, probably. Sleep tight, you guys. You also Netherlands. You're all on summertime, right? I don't know if they do summertime out here. They didn't do it in Brazil anymore. Leshida, James Riley. I don't know what that means. Stuck here in Dallas, Texas. Yuck. Nah, I would not say that about my dear Texas. Well, that's not. I'm probably sounding more like a southern Louisiana, but hang in there, man. That's a big city to be stuck in, but Buenos Aires. It's just I didn't pick the best city, to hang out long term, and I knew it too, because if there's one place I'll keep in lockdown, it's going to be this place, right? And I knew it. Here we are. It's what it is. Take care, Alistair McIsaac. UK clock's going forward. Oh yeah. Well, we should. I don't know what they do in Argentina, but summer's coming for you guys. Winter's coming here, and tick tock, it's going to be a cold Patagonia. Although cold doesn't necessarily mean bad weather, so that's a trade-off. South Island, beautiful in the winter, great weather. Though you don't want to be on North Island in the winter. Horrible. Hit the twisties all day long in West Virginia. It was awesome. Well, enjoy it while you can, man. Enjoy it while you can. Don't tease the people like that, man. John Spicer. See you, man. All the best from Glastonbury, UK. Cheers, bruv. It's all about the ride, Pedro. All the best from Rafael Florianopolis, Brazil. Missed your visit. I know, man. Cheers, Cloud Pilot. All right. So, hang in there, folks. Take it easy. See you in the comments of the next video. Just watch it. And we'll see each other at some point again. Probably could do a live stream. I don't know. We'll see what happens, and maybe might do a live stream sooner than later. Hey Pedro, get a press pass. Interesting. Could put a big mask around. Helmet's basically quarantine, right? They can't force you to stay home. I don't know. They can do things. Who knows? We'll see how far they push it, man. Seus vídeos são ligados. Obrigado, Ricardo Lima Oliveiro. Adeus, gente. Goodbye. Adios. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen. Tot ziens. See you all later. Take it easy. Take care. And at some point, all this craziness is going to end. Ciao. It's unconstitutional. There's in the long run, there's truth in there. So we'll see what happens, man. Those are going to be the interesting times. All right. See ya.